Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Cedar Stitch Making Podcast. My name is Tyler, and I live in the greater Houston area. I am a knitter. I crochet. I do a little bit of quilting and some sewing projects. I'm sure you see a lot of sewing decor in my sewing machine behind me. Don't let that fool you. I'm much more on the fiber arts side of things, but this is the most convenient spot in my house to film, which is where all my sewing stuff is. So, I really enjoy watching knitting podcasts on YouTube, making podcasts on YouTube, and I have recently kind of been getting into the fiber arts community in a much bigger way, and so I kind of thought, why not put myself out there and try my own podcast. This may not make it on the internet. I feel like it's very unlikely that it does, but if you are watching this on YouTube, yay. Thank you, future me, for taking the leap on that. But I had a little bit of extra time this morning, and so I thought I would try filming this. I've tried to film it a couple times, and I just am not happy with it. So I am going to caveat this with, obviously, I am not a podcaster. I don't have like a great equipment set up, so hopefully the sound and video is okay, but if not, I'm working with what I've got. So again, I'm Tyler. I really kind of started knitting and crocheting in a much more consistent way probably in the last 3 years, but I have been doing both, especially crochet, since I was a pretty young child, just kind of on and off as I've picked up the hobby or put it down for a while. I've recently had a yarn store that I really love open near me, and it's just kind of encouraged me to get back into these crafts, and suddenly they've become like social in a way that I never knew knitting or crochet could be. I always thought of it as being a very solitary kind of thing that I would do, by myself when I was just hanging out alone or something. And so it's really also introduced me to a lot of wonderful like hand-dyed yarns and tools and all of these things that I didn't really know were out there because I wasn't talking to anybody about it. So I thought I would film this. In the last month I have done the Texas Yarn Trail, and this past weekend I was at the Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Fest, and so a really big part of this first episode would definitely be acquisitions. If you don't see acquisitions from me, if there is a future episode or couple episodes of this podcast, if you don't see acquisitions from me in a long time, it's because I was at Texas Yarn Trail and the DFW Fiber Fest within a month. So, I'd really love to kind of share some of my finished objects, some of my works in progress, and then kind of all the goodies I've kind of gotten recently. And just see where we go from there. If this, like I said, if it makes it out on the internet, if y'all have any feedback, or if you'd like me to continue, I guess we'll find out. So I'm going to start with my finished objects. I'm also going to try not to talk too fast, but I only have so much time to film this morning. So my first one is this gingham blankie by Universal Yarns. The pattern is called Gingham Blankie. And this was a kit that my local yarn store had put together. I've looked online. I'm pretty sure that these colors are Mocha, Savannah, and Lily, but I could be wrong, but those are the closest, I'm pretty sure, when I looked at their website. And the yarn is the Uptown Bamboo DK, so it's an acrylic and bamboo blend. It's pretty nice. So I really enjoyed the granny square pattern. I believe it's a farmhouse granny. I'm sure there's multiple different names for it, but that's kind of how I've seen it listed. They were quick. They were fun to do. I really did not enjoy sewing all the squares together. You could have crocheted them together. You can sew them together, whatever you want to do, but I think that kind of comes with pretty much any granny square project, is you're going to have a lot of fun making the squares and not so much fun putting them together. But yeah, it was, I really like how it turned out. I'm planning on this being a Christmas gift for my mother-in-law, just because I kind of think it'll go with her decor, and not done anything handmade for her, so I'd like to do that. But yeah, I would recommend this pattern if you ever wanted to do kind of a nice throw-sized crochet blanket project. And it was nice for being on the go or something, because I could just take a singular color ball or something and just work on a couple granny squares, and that it's not like a big project where I have to carry around a blanket with me. So that was really nice. My next couple finished objects, and I should have said this at the beginning, these have just kind of been recently, probably like in the last 2 months or so. Obviously, if I do continue to do this podcast, it would be more, hey, these are things that I've been working on between episodes, but for right now, I'm just kind of grabbing the things I'm most proud of from the last couple months or so. The next one is this Sophie scarf. I have done a couple of Sophie scarves before. This is my first time doing the large size, I'm pretty sure. I think I've only done the smalls. But this is done in a, I held the Essential Kid Mohair and Silk by Rico Designs in a blue color. I couldn't find the name of the colorway, but just like a light blue. And then this is Malabrigo Caprino, which is like a wool and cashmere blend. And I believe the colorway is Poipu, but I could definitely be pronouncing that wrong. I just really love how it kind of is like oceany. You know, there's even little specks of green in here. I think I saw some very, very random little pinks even, but mostly just kind of like ocean blues and greens in here, and I really like it. I will say I loved the Malabrigo. The Essential Kid Mohair and Silk blend, I think I was expecting something a little closer to the Sandnesgarn Tin Silk Mohair, and so this is a little bit rougher than I really prefer. If I was going to do this again, I would probably go pick up the Tin Silk Mohair. But I'm glad I tried it, and I do actually have a couple more balls of this in my stash, so I will need to use them up. But yeah, I think moving forward, I would probably just stick with the Tin Silk Mohair. But yeah, so this is my Sophie scarf. Also, this is my lovely cat already making an appearance. This is Dixie. If I don't let her in here, she will just stand outside the door and scream. So I apologize if she becomes distracting. The next one I have is, there's going to be a theme of me maybe not knowing how to pronounce stuff, so I'm sorry. I believe this is called the Sabai top. I knit this in Cascade Pandemonium in the color, I believe it's lavender. And yeah, this took me about 3 weeks. I really enjoyed this pattern. It went really fast. This is the first garment I've done in quite a while. I have done a few before, but this is also the first one I've really felt like was good enough to wear in public. That said, I have learned my lesson. I am learning how to gauge swatch things, but prior to this, I really didn't. And so I do think that the depth on the arms came out a little bit, it's much deeper than I wish it was. And so I do feel like I have to wear kind of like a cardigan over this so that you don't see my bra under my arms. But it's a little bit heavy, but it feels really nice. It's pretty breathable. I did the version 2, so this pattern by Suzanne Mueller comes with 2 versions, and I did the second, which means no ribbing. So it's a rolled collar, but I did actually add ribbing here at the bottom, just because I personally didn't really like the way the rolled bottom hem looked on me, but I thought it looked really great in the pictures. I prefer longer shirts that hit more down like at my hips, and so just to help provide any amount of length I could without, like, you know, feeling like I was knitting a dress or something, I just kind of stuck with the rib so that it would kind of stay down towards my hips. But yeah, this was really nice. I really enjoyed knitting this one. You will see when I get to my work in progress that no two tops are created the same. I really love this one. I have a second one in my bag that I'm really not loving. So I don't want to spoil that, but we will get there. But I do really recommend this pattern. I don't think it's anything to do with the pattern or the yarn. Both were really, really great to work with. The last one that I have is my first pair of socks. And there are a lot of mistakes in these socks. I've not done socks before. I picked this yarn up when I was on the yarn trail. This is Nerdy Knits in Winter Foraging, I'm pretty sure, the Winter Foraging bundle. And those yarns are all like video game inspired, and I think that the Winter Foraging bundle is like a Stardew Valley. But yeah, the pattern was just the vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars by the Crazy Sock Lady. I did make some mistakes. The heel's too short. I did not figure out the Kitchener stitch, and I don't know if I ever will. I would like to, just to say that I did, but in reality, I may just crochet the toe of my socks closed moving forward, because in my mind, I'm either at home wearing these and no one can see them, or I'm in public and they're in a shoe and no one can see this. So if you are watching this and you're like, I'm not ever gonna watch the second episode because that's not how you do socks, I apologize. But it was really frustrating to get to the end and I will say, I think a big part of it is because I found out through my sit and stitch group that I kind of knit backwards. My stitches sit backwards on my needles, and I had no idea. I was self-taught and I wasn't really watching other people knit. But I think I just really can't get my brain around like knit wise, purl wise, to get the Kitchener right, because everything is backwards. And usually with knitting, I can kind of work it out, but for some reason, just trying to graft them together, I just could not. So, anyway, but yeah, I really enjoyed these. I can see myself making a lot more socks, which when we get to my acquisitions, you will see that I have to, because I bought a lot of sock yarn. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Okay, so those are my finished objects. To my works in progress, and again, I apologize if I'm talking fast. I'm trying to film this before going to work. So my first one is another Sabai top, and as you may have gathered already, I'm really not enjoying knitting this one. And I'm even doing the second version again. Again, this pattern is by Suzanne Mueller. The pattern is great. I don't know if it's the yarn. So this is Malabrigo Silky Merino, and I think the color is pronounced Arape. I loved it as a skein when I saw it at the store. I even loved it when I first started knitting this up. The more and more I look at it as a garment for me to potentially wear, the less and less I like it. And also, I don't know what's going on, because I really thought this would slide and fly off the needles, but for some reason knitting this hurts my hands so badly. I really don't know what's going on, because I would think, and even right now as I'm showing y'all, like I feel like, you know, the yarn's sliding around, but when I'm trying to like knit it, it is just not. So it hurts my hands. I don't love the color. I did think about like frogging it back and just like, would I enjoy this as something that wasn't a shirt, you know? And I'm just like, what else am I gonna knit? Like anything else is pretty much gonna be some kind of garment, right? I mean, I guess I could make like a pillow cover or something. I don't know. It wouldn't go with my house decor, you know? So I don't know. I'm just gonna try to finish it at some point. This has honestly been in hibernation. I pulled it out, so more as an accountability thing. If I document it on the internet, I have to finish it, right? I don't. But the other thing is I have checked myself multiple times against the pattern. I don't know what's going on. You might be able to see under the arms, I'm getting this like weird puckering thing going on. And it's at even intervals and it's on both sides. And I would rip back and check, and I don't think I'm missing any increases. I don't think I'm doing increases incorrectly. I don't know what's going on. I did not have this problem with the other version. So I've kind of, like I said, just been letting it sit because I'm just not motivated to work on it. And maybe eventually I will be, because at this point, you know, I'm just knitting stockinette to the bottom until I get to, you know, I can't imagine I would do the rolled hem on this one, so I'm a little bit of ribbing at the bottom, but it's just stockinette in the round. It could also be I've never had to, you know, one of my sit and stitch friends had pointed out that, you know, if you've never used a yarn like this before, you need to be switching out the skeins so that you don't get pooling. So I'm pretty sure I'm doing helical knitting. I watched some YouTube videos, I think I am. And it's not that bad by any means. It's really not that bad, but I think that does also kind of contribute like mentally to this. It's just a little bit extra work to finish this project, and I'm already not enjoying it, so I just have not been knitting on it. My next work in progress is another pair of socks. So this is same pattern. I'm making a pair for my husband. I just finished the heel yesterday, so now I'm just knitting the foot, you know. But this is in the Lamb & Kid trio base, and I believe it's not a colorway. I think she calls them counting sheep when either the color didn't match quality standards, or it just wasn't maybe the color she was going for with the colorway, and so it's like a one-off skein that just didn't quite have any sisters or anything. So but I really like it. I really enjoyed this yarn. I think my husband likes the color, and so this was some yarn I picked up on our Seattle trip in April. We took a day and went to Bainbridge Island. So I got to visit the Lamb & Kid store, and I have really, really been enjoying this yarn. So if you ever get to go, I definitely recommend going to the store too. It's amazing. But yeah, so another pair of socks. And I'm sorry if you hear animals playing in the background. My next project is a crochet project. This is the Simple and Elegant shawl. This was a free pattern on Ravelry from Christine's Crochets. And I am using a Silk Paca blend by Yarn Dragon. This was another Seattle find. They were in Pike's Place Market, and it is the softest, nicest yarn to hold. It's so squishy, it's so soft. And the colorway is Shield. I love it so much, but it doesn't have nylon in it, and I know I could theoretically still knit socks with it if I wanted to, but I was like, well, it's not really sock yarn. I don't make a lot of projects with like fingering weight yarn, and so I kind of realized maybe a shawl was a good way to go. I don't wear shawls, but I thought this was a good way to just kind of have a fun, repetitive, you know, kind of crochet pattern. I didn't have a crochet pattern going, and I like to always have at least one, just when I want to take a break from knitting. And so yeah, the colorway is turning out pretty interesting. But yeah, it's a fun pattern to work up, and theoretically you can just keep going and going and going as long as you want to. I have 2 skeins of this, so it's quite a bit of yarn, and so I don't know if I'm going to make it to the desired number of increase rows, or if I'm just going to keep going to get rid of the yarn, and if I have a super oversized shawl, then I have a super oversized shawl. My last project is a Monday sweater by Petite Knit. I've cast this project on multiple times in different yarns. I'm going to take the stitch stoppers off so it kind of has some form. And I've just never finished it, and it's nothing really to do with the pattern or anything. It's just me making a mistake or me having not picked it up in so long that I forget where I'm at or something. And honestly, for me, it's easier to just start over. But yeah, so I've done it again. I'm knitting this in the Juniper Moon Farms Moonshine, which is like a Peruvian wool, alpaca and silk blend, and I believe the colorway is cumin, but I'm not sure. And it's really, really soft. I think it's gonna be just so cozy when I finish it. And I love this pattern. I really, really love the folded over collar, and that there's kind of like multiple stitches here in the raglan. I don't know a whole lot about sharing about patterns online, so I don't want to give too much away. There's like multiple stitches here in the raglan, and so yeah, I mean, it seems like it's pretty basic, and it was also kind of my first time really doing like neck shaping too, so I thought it was a good pattern for me to learn a couple new techniques while not being too hard. And I really love the super simple design of it, so even though I still haven't finished one, I could totally see myself knitting quite a few of these just because I really enjoy the look of it, both like long sleeve and short sleeve. So yeah, this one is just more that I'm in Texas, it's hot, it's not necessarily something that I'm wanting to like hold on to, and it's, you know, kind of heavy, and I still won't be able to wear it for a while, so I got time. Okay, now to get on to probably the longest and most obnoxious section of this. Again, I'm gonna preface this with, this is a haul across 2 huge fiber events, and sorry, I'm scrolling my notes down so I don't forget anything about this yarn. You will not see hauls like this from me, except maybe like if I get to go to DFW every year. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's my first time having gone to either of them, and I was just so excited, and I've gotten to make friends, and I went a bit overboard, but I'm so excited to knit with these, and I have projects in mind for all of it, so I'm super happy, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So first couple like little things, I was gonna try to go by day. We'll see if I can kind of keep up with that. So I'm gonna go with the yarn trail stuff first. I know that's been a little bit, but it's my first episode, so I'm making the rules here. So I went to all 9 of the stores on the yarn trail, but I didn't buy stuff at all of the stores. Things that I did buy, Park Avenue Yarns had a trunk show for Bashful Armadillo, and I got 2 yarns from her. One of them is stuck on the bottom of this basket. And the first one, sorry, they're kicked up already. But this is from her Texas Regions collection, and this is the Texas Panhandle on just like a sock base. And so I went to school in, kind of the Panhandle, West Texas region, and so I love the inspiration for this. And I thought this would be a fun yarn to like maybe make shorties for some of my friends. I don't know that I have enough of this, but I know I could get more. So maybe for like my friends sometime in the future. But so I got Texas Panhandle, and then I also got her colorway for the Texas Yarn Trail. I think it's like Park Avenue Dew is the name. I could be pronouncing that wrong again, but I just thought this was super pretty. It was meant to match the Yarn Trail bag, which I would show you, except it's packed up and I've been using it as my purse, so it's kind of like packed up and ready to go to work, but I'm super excited to use this as well. The next day, so that I think I got those, I did the whole yarn trail in 3 days, so I got those Friday. Saturday, I didn't actually buy anything from the yarn trail, but I did stop by like my local yarn store that had just opened, and I bought some things from her just because she didn't get to be on the yarn trail, and I really wanted to kind of support her that weekend as well. And also, it was just stuff I had been eyeing already. I was in there, I was like, hey, might as well buy it. So you saw my Sophie scarf. I got yarn to make 2. So this is the exact same thing I held together. I kind of already went over the Malabrigo Caprino in Poipu and the Rico Designs Essentials Kid Mohair and Silk. Again, didn't super love this. I'm either going to use it because it's in my stash or destash it at some point. I don't know. Or maybe just try, making it without it. But I really love this yarn. And then because I went super overboard, I did actually get the exact same thing in a different colorway because I also wanted a neutral one. So just a brown version, and then this one, this colorway I think is called either Sand Bank or Sand Bar, but it's like a nice kind of cool, I'm not very good at caking up yarn, so they're kind of falling apart. Cool taupe beige, I don't know, brown color. And then Sunday, my last stop was the Modern Skein. I got some Sandnesgarn, the Tin Silk Mohair in dark chocolate, and I had actually bought this to pair with the Shield yarn that I'm crocheting with. And then when I was looking for a project, I finally just decided, like, I love that yarn so much. I didn't want to mess with a good thing. It's so soft and just drapey, silky on its own. And I was like, I like browns and stuff. I will use this at some point, but I decided not to hold them together. So I have a little bit of this in my stash. I will say, moving forward, like from DFW, if I bought multiples of a skein of yarn, just for the sake of time, I'm just trying to kind of get through it. So I'm just going to hold up one of them so you can see it, but I may or may not have multiples of some of them for specific projects. I also bought a bunch of notions, including the coffee mug I really need to take a sip out of before it gets cold. It's already cold. I just got kind of some notions from there. And yeah, one of the things about the yarn trail, at least this year, I don't know if this is the same previously, is you get pins at each location you go to. And you might be able to see them on the pink ribbon behind me. Modern Skein was my last stop, and I actually forgot to pick up my pin. And so I DM'd them on Instagram like, hey, if I buy one more skein of yarn and you ship it to me, because they're a little a ways from me, like, if I'm in the area or if there's something they have and I really want to go, I'll go. But otherwise, like, sometimes paying for the shipping is more convenient than driving. And so I was like, hey, I forgot my pin. There was something else I was kind of looking at. If I buy this, can you ship the pin with it? And they were like, yeah. So I did order some sock yarn. This is the Red Stag Fiber Dacus, don't know, sock, which is a merino yak and nylon blend. And the colorway is Scottish Thistle. I'm not a big purples person, which you may be surprised by my socks and my Sabai top, but I'm really not into purple. But I thought that this would be a good color for, again, some of my friends for gift knitting. And so I picked this up and I got my pin. I did also on the yarn trail pick up some Arcane Fiberworks in the Ballad of Chicken Little. I don't think I have the video editing skills to put a picture up yet, so I really recommend you go check that out. I got that in a sock base for my mom, and I did also get some sock blockers that are off screen right here. And I got both of those from my local yarn store as well, Craftique Studio. So that was Yarn Trail. And then I went to DFW Fiber Fest this past weekend, and I said go big or go home. I'm going to kind of, again, try to go by day here. So on my first day, we drove in Friday morning, so I got to shop around a little bit Friday afternoon. And my husband went with me, and I was like, I just want to scope it out so I know where everything is. And then Saturday will kind of be my shopping day. I did end up buying one thing on Friday just because I thought it was really cool. And then also, I was like, depending on what I find, this way I could start on one of these things if I get bored or need to take a break from shopping and just want to hang out in the hotel. And I went to Pacific Knit Co. And they have a doodle bar. So basically she makes these packs of colorwork motifs or designs that you can use, and basically buy these decks and either use your own pattern, or they also sell basic patterns for things like socks, hats, I don't remember what all they had, cowls, so that you can do the colorwork motifs on those basic items, right? And so I got the Desert Doodle deck. Again, I live in Texas. This had like rattlesnakes and cowboy hats and boots, and I just thought that this would go really well if I ever want to make things for people. And also I did spend time living in like New Mexico, southern Utah as a kid, and so I really love the desert, so I got this. Have I done color work before? No, I have not. But am I gonna learn because I think this is like cutesy and fun? Maybe. We'll see. I hope so. I bought it. I spent money on it. I would like to use it. So I got that, and then I also got her, this is for the Fiber Fest. It was specific to the Fiber Fest. I think if she had extras, she was selling them. But I picked this up. It's just like a Texas with a heart in it, that she did for the Fiber Fest. I thought it was cute, and maybe like a good practice one that I could just try repeating this one first. So I got those, and those were kind of my Friday purchases. I did get other stuff on Friday. I did not purchase it because we played bingo and I won something, and I never win anything. And it was crazy because it was the very last game of bingo. Again, I never win anything, and I saw the prize and I was just like, God, I would love that so much. It's on my wish list. It's things that I wanted to shop for this weekend, and when you know it, I won, and I'm so excited. So the first thing that is covered in cat hair already is this All With Love tote bag. And unfortunately, I was not able to hear what they were saying about the price, so I don't know if it was made specially for bingo or if this was something that the brand had made previously and had left over. I really, unfortunately, could not hear and did not catch how this bag came about, but it's the DFW Fiber Fest logo, which, if you can't tell, is kind of like an atom, but it's a ball of yarn, a crochet hook, a knitting needle, and a spindle, which is super cute, like a drop spindle kind of thing. But it's really well made. It's super sturdy. It's got like water bottle pockets and all kinds of stuff in here, which I love. So I love the bag, but the thing that I was just to die for, because I didn't realize, I thought these were two separate prizes, and I got both. But the one I saw that I was just wanted so badly was this, and it is a set of Leica, I don't know how to pronounce anything, needles, and this is in the blush color. I was shopping for the umber for myself, but like I'm definitely gonna use the blush, especially, heck, if I win them, I'm gonna use them. And so this is a set of the 5-inch tips that are interchangeable, and I believe it's like sizes 4 through 17. So I've never used wooden needles before, so I'm super excited to give them a try. But yeah, so I am the proud new owner of some blush needles. But I was just super excited. And I was, oh, there goes the blanket. I was telling everyone at the table, like, oh, I just, it would be so cool if I could win those. And my husband was playing with us, and he was even like, if I win them, I'm going to give them to you, but you have to wait for Christmas. So, but I won them, so I don't have to wait, which is great. So that was my first day. My second day, was the most purchases because that was my longest day at the convention center. So not really in any particular order. I did pick up some extra ChowGoo tips. Now I have some wooden needles, but up until now, and I still haven't used them, I pretty much exclusively use ChowGoo. So I got some of my, I think I've perfected the sock pattern. I've knit socks multiple times. I've just never like finished a set, and so I think I've got it down now. So I got some of those from the Fiber Lady booth. I picked up from the Sexy Knitter a couple things. I got, just kidding, that was on day 3. I'm trying to go day 2. Day 2, I went to Mustache Yarns, must stash, as in must put it in your stash. And they do some self-striping sock yarns. And so my husband saw this one when we were walking around on Friday, and he was like, that is so cool. So I got it because, for him to be like, oh my God, that's amazing at a yarn festival, I had to make sure that he had it. So this is Dark Emperor, aka Papaltine. And so it does, like this dark gray, light gray, electric blue striping. And what I found out is that these actually come in 2 separate skeins once you unwind it. And so you can knit, you don't have to do 2 at a time, but you can knit your 2 socks identically. So I got that one for him. And then for me, I got the Hope of a Galaxy, aka Ray, colorway, which is like kind of beiges, some grays, kind of a cream, and then it has this really pretty like turquoise running through it. So we've got our Star Wars sock yarn. I also picked up, again, I got enough to do multiple socks and some color work, but I'm just going to show you one of each colorway. This was from Euphoria Knits. These were halvesies. I got 2 of them to make sure that I could make 2 socks in olive drab, I think is what it's called. Yeah, olive drab in her sock base. And so I got this, and I was going to pair it with burgundy to do some vulture socks for my sibling using the the doodle deck. So because there's like a vulture motif in there, and they love vultures. So that was my plan. They had a really good deal on minis, so I picked up 2 of each of these, and then I picked up 3 of burgundy number 2, which I think may have just been a little less concentrated color, because I just knew this would go, maybe not with anything I necessarily have right now, but a lot of colors I do gravitate towards it would go really well with for contrast, for color work, so I picked those up. I also bought from a brand I had never heard of before, Crafted by Locals. This is a sock base. This is, these are all hand dyed out of, I cannot remember if they're near Fort Worth or near Waco. I forget. But this is the pink granite colorway, and I bought this to use with this coffee shop set of minis, which I thought was just so cute. This is also the sock base, and these are the prettiest colors, as I've mentioned. I really love kind of like desert colorways. I'm a big fan of browns and blues, as you might kind of maybe tell from some things like this. I mean, it's a little bit brighter, but anyway, love browns and blues. So I got this. I kind of thought this pink granite would go really well with this. So I got those, but I had also bought a skein of, this is my favorite purchase from the weekend. This is Kingfisher, and it's got teals, some whites, some like real sky blue, something very similar to the pink granite, some rusty color, and some dark blue, and it's just beautiful. I love this yarn so much. And you will see kind of a theme here. But this kind of blues, rusty brown kind of greens. I love it. So I had bought this because I also thought, well, if I didn't use the granite, it might be kind of cool to do color work where the color work is in the tonal and then this is almost like the base color. Again, I've not done color work. That could turn out awful. But whatever. If I want to try it, I want to try it. And so I bought that. And then kind of, I'll get back to that. Spoiler alert, I do go back to that booth. That's what I got from them. And non-yarn wise, on the second day, I bought this bag from Wool Needle Thread. It's, I believe, all recycled fabrics. And it's just like a little triangle pouch. It's got like a crane on it, some feathers. I think it's super cute. I do realize that it's really gonna be like socks or nothing in here. It's kind of small. But just because I bought it at the Fiber Fest doesn't mean it has to be a knitting project bag. I mean, I could use this for a ton of things. So this was just, I thought it was so pretty. I did also get a keychain. It's on my wallet right now. And again, my stuff is packed up to go to work after this, so I'm not gonna go dig it out. But yeah, those are from Wool Needle Thread. I also bought, because I am a sucker for project bags, this. I was looking for a sweater, or at least like top size, because they get kind of large, top size project bag, and I found this at Prep Eclectic. This yarn themed, you know, there's like knitting needles, almost like tattoo designs on here. I just thought this was super cute. And it has a lot of pockets. It's got one here. It's got a zipper one here. And it actually has a pocket on the inside with a little tag I didn't notice till I got home that says, "Dear me, don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing great." But this one, I love this. It's drawstring. It's also, you know, got handles. And so I thought this was a great sweater bag. Or if I really was on the go, I usually carry around a pretty big project bag that I have multiple projects in. But if I want to condense things a little bit, I've got like a cute bag with pockets. So I've got that. I also just realized that this brown ball is kind of shimmery, which I didn't notice at first. So I got those, and then, God, this is you know, when you like lay it all out, and now I'm like putting it on the internet, and I'm like, I bought so much. Oops. This is a drop spindle from Butterfly Girl Designs. She was so kind, and she gave me a demonstration. She let me try it out on a couple spindles, or a spindle that I really, really liked. But she had kind of said, you know, is it a beginner spindle? No. Am I also of the opinion that if it's something beautiful and you love it, you're more likely to use it? Yes. So she was like, you can purchase it if you want to. I would recommend something with maybe a wider base and with more weight. I did not get something with a wider base necessarily, but I did get something that was much heftier. And so I got this beautiful spindle. Hopefully you guys can see it. Have I done spinning before? No. Am I gonna try it? Yeah. Am I gonna make my husband try it? Also, yes. For some reason, he seemed really interested in this process. So I have a drop spindle. I would love if he could just, you know, crank out some yarn for me as I'm knitting, and then by the time I'm done, I've got a whole new ball of hand spun yarn to use. On that note, from Snyder Spindles, I did pick up, I missed what this is called, but it's just like a real basic, it was very cheap, undyed, there's stuff in it, roving to use just to practice. I really don't have that much more to say about it. I think it was just like I don't remember the wool, real basic here. And then, because why not go all in on something I don't know how to do? I did also pick up this beautiful roving from Apothecary Fabrications. And this one is wool and silk blend, 20% mulberry silk. It doesn't have a colorway on it. I did look on her website and I think it is called Koi. I'm not sure. But as you can see, there's kind of like a color scheme that I really love. I did try filming this video before and I had even held up. This is holding all my skeins where I have extra of a color. This is the backpack that I was walking around with to gather all my stuff. So definitely a color combo favorite of mine. But yeah, I think that's all of day 2. Day 3, we went to McKinney Knittery. And that one, I did look around. That one ended up being more souvenir shopping rather than yarn. I got myself a shirt that's in the wash right now. I got some cute little, sorry I saw the time trying to wrap up here. Some cute little hot pink stitch markers that have the McKinney Knittery logo on them. You probably can't see them, but it's on there to give to folks who weren't able to go. And then I got this tote bag for my local yarn shop store owner because I know she had mentioned she really wanted to go. So I wanted to get her something since she wasn't able to go to the Fiber Fest because she has a yarn store to run. While we were out and about, after we went to McKinney Knittery, we went to Tup's Brewery and we're sitting there eating lunch. And I'm on Instagram and I see that Mustache Yarns put their entire booth on 15% off to try to like clear out before the end of the Fiber Fest. And my husband, I'm like telling my husband this and I was like, but we're not going to make it back on time. It's okay. And he's like, we'll make it back. So I made it back to the Fiber Fest with 40 minutes to spare. I managed to run to Mustache Yarns and I picked up a colorway I had been eyeing previously but hadn't bought. Again, with themes. This is called Koi Pond. A much brighter version of the 2 blue and oranges you've already seen. This is, you know, again, they're sock based, but I bought this to pair with this tonal, also in the sock weight. Doesn't have a colorway on it, but just kind of a turquoise to match with it. And I'm thinking about making the, I believe it's called the Buelna tank top or t-shirt by Balin Fernandez. I'm probably totally butchering that one, but it's really pretty stripes across the top horizontally, and then like it looks like just stockinette kind of from the bust down. I thought that would be really pretty. So I got those and I went back to Crafted by Locals because I was like, I have to have more of this. I've got to do something else. So I bought them pretty much out of their Kingfisher yarn. And I got this, which I thought was the same color as this. It is not. That's okay. I will pair this with color, like the minis, and I got this, I don't know what I'm going to make with this yet. I'm envisioning a sweater. This is rust. This is pink granite. They're pretty similar. This is just a little more pink. This is a little more orange. So I'm hoping to pair these two together. Other than that, I did get some Lord of the Rings stitch markers. There's like a little Gollum, the Deed of Gondor, a little Hobbit door. You guys probably can't see them all because I'm looking at them. So those are super cute. I love Lord of the Rings. I got a hair clip I'm probably going to give to my sister. I thought it was beautiful. I don't know that it looks super great on me, so I will probably give that to my sister. And I got this project bag because I love Whataburger. And I really love the wool needle thread one, but I realized I wasn't going to be able to fit that much in there, so I got kind of the same design. This one is like a vinyl waterproof, and it's a little bit bigger. So I got that. And then I got a free little, trying to kind of cover it. There's profanity on it, but she gave me like a free little stitch marker pouch. So yeah, that is my absolutely ridiculous acquisition section. Again, these were all of the last couple things I showed were from the Sexy Knitter. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, I apologize, I was probably talking way too fast, but there's just so much to go through. I have not been able to find a chunk of time long enough to feel like I'm not like rushing through this. In the future, hopefully there's less for me to babble about and maybe more time on my hands. But yeah, so again, if this made it up on the internet and if you stuck with this far, that's amazing. We will see where this goes from here, but thank you so much for watching. And if there's an episode 2, I hope to see you there. Bye.